everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to City Skylines, Green Cities. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back in the beautiful city of Greendale, where things, as always, are going pretty darn well. Currently sitting with absolutely no residential demand, about half demand for commercial zoning, and almost full demand for industry/offices. We are sitting comfortably above $8 million, pulling in over $23,000 every week, with a population of about 113,000 people. So, I think it's fair to say things are going nicely. I've also changed up some roads here, as you might be able to tell. This is the original entrance to the city that I've gone ahead and tweaked. We've brought the avenue the whole way down to here, and I've also added in... I know this isn't too realistic and isn't incredibly efficient if there's a lot of traffic, because it can get backed up, you know, traffic coming in here, might want to cross over, like that, basically. The traffic sort of runs into each other. I know it doesn't make sense, but it kind of works. And the reason it works is because on the right side, we have room for traffic to come out of here and get onto the highway, and we also have room for traffic to come from this bridge and sort of do the same thing. On the other side, traffic can basically get straight into this district. I know a sharp left-hand turn isn't amazing for highways, but there's not enough traffic for that to be a big deal just yet, and then the rest of the traffic can go straight on again to the bridge. And it works for the most part because it gives this area a highway connection, which it definitely needed because we were having some issues with all of the traffic backing up around here and here because it wanted to go left and down into this district. So that's solved some of those problems. But that's not the only change that I've gone ahead and made. Over here, I've built Thornton Heights, and we also have this area which isn't a district just yet. I decided to do these off camera because they're just tiny little areas that really needed filled up, and I also really wanted to get a small industrial zone in here. I'm actually going to take out the industrial zoning itself, though, because it's just a little bit too small, and I'm going to go with more offices there. And as you can see, we have 60 garbage trucks worth of recycling centers right here, which are actually sort of doing some decent stuff for us. They're not working perfectly yet because we are still having some issues with garbage collection, but it's definitely improving. The city is definitely improving. I also added in some medical clinics and some crematoriums to areas that desperately needed them. But the garbage across the city definitely seems to be better. And that's because if we have a little look, before this area existed, the only garbage collection or processing that we had was down here and way up here, meaning all this space in the middle didn't really have, it was a long way to go. It was a long way to go for these trucks and these trucks to collect garbage. And there's still some areas up here, I'm sure, that are probably still complaining. No, actually, there doesn't seem to be anyone really complaining about garbage, so maybe I've solved the problem. Either way, there was a bit of a distance for the trucks to go, so putting some in here that are a little bit closer just seemed like a good idea. And this just seemed like the right place to put them, so that's why those are where they are. I've also added in the servicing services offices, that's a mouthful, which will attract visitors and tourists to this area, which I think, again, is probably not a bad idea, just to pull some people out this way. And today, I'm thinking I'd like to begin by addressing a concern with the metro lines here. And I've already started working on this. I'm going to just bulldoze these bits of line here because I was just testing something before we get started recording. And that something is, let's say I wanted to go from Sheffield Park, right here at the end, to this station here. Now, obviously, this is by design. I designed it this way, but it still doesn't make sense. It's still not efficient. I wanted to go here to over there. I get on a line here, go down into the center of the city. I then change onto another line, and I go back up here. When, if I got in a car, I can just go, on a road, and there I am. So what I'm thinking we do is we basically build a series of looping metro stations around the city so that you can go from here to here on, a train that's just going to go from there to there, It makes sense. It's kind of a thing I probably should have done already. So I want to give that a shot. I want to see if we can make a series of metro stations that will sort of just loop around the city like that. I don't know if we can, but I'm definitely going to try and, you know, try my best to make it work. So let's get started. I think I am just going to stick with my usual method of right angles because, you know, it infuriates people and that's what I'm about. It's not really, it's just easier. So if I do that kind of thing, that's not a right angle, but it's... No, you know what? That doesn't actually look nice at all. Let's see if we can maybe make something that's going to look decent here in terms of a series of looping metro lines. There is probably going to be some degree of overlap with some of these, because this will be an end station here, and then I'll probably have to use a bit of this line for the trains to, you know, get up to here. So let's pick a station and start with that. So I think we're going to start with this one, and I think we're going to work our way around. So what I might try and do is actually follow some of the roads as well. That could be a way to kind of make this a little bit neater. So if that comes down to there and following that road, we can then sort of have it come across to that point and then go underneath the avenue here. And it can be slightly biased. It'll be biased to that one side of the avenue, which isn't a huge deal. We can actually skip that station there, which is no problem. Bring it up to about there, and then turn on guidelines, because it actually needs to go into that station there. So up to that point, and curve. A little bit of a sharp curve, but not too much of a big deal. That's going to go into that station, and then out of the station just here. So let's see if I can get something kind of nice like that. And let's see if we can bring it back over towards the avenue just here. And just ever so slightly have it bypass that station. We'll turn off guidelines again because we don't want it to follow all of the curves of all of the already existing stations. This might be the nicest looking metro line in the entire city, which is actually, I was going to say that's saying something, but it's actually not. There's really not a high standard of metro lines in the city right now, so this is it's something. It's better than the other ones, but I don't know if it's something good is, I think, what I'm saying there. And I say I think because I'm not really sure what the point I'm making is. Anyway, bring that up to there and have it connect to there. So that'll go into that station, which is great. It now needs to connect somehow to this yellow station, and I'm not sure what way to do that. Why are you complaining about... What are you complaining about? There we go. Get that fixed. Let's also maybe just remove all that for a second and bring this straight across, because I think what we're going to have to do here is ever so slightly curve that line in a bit. I think that'll do the job. As for this yellow station, there's technically two stations going there, so maybe what we do is, just to make things easier, we move this station from there to there. I think that might improve things a little bit. So if I was to do... If I turn on Anarchy to do this real quick, can I do that? Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll move both of those stops to there. Delete the old station. Bulldoze that bit. And what we're going to do is bring this somehow straight across and have this somehow line up real nicely, which may or may not work. Can I get a curve there? I sort of cannot, which is just excellent. So let's just do that. It's about as good as it's going to get, I think, unless I maybe do that. That's a bit better. Okay. Then this just needs to curve out, I guess. That's as good as that's going to get. That's not all that realistic, but most of it isn't, so there you go. This will curve across and then curve into there. No problem. This little bit has a weird curve to it, so let's get rid of all of that and start bringing this out. Now, this is actually where I'm going to start adding some stops to these outer areas. This will be the outermost stops for any of the metro lines, I think, because I'm probably going to start working on like suburb style areas out there, or like big shopping districts, and by that I mean like big almost custom shopping districts, so it's not going to be like normal shopping districts. So we'll see how that goes. So these are likely to be the outermost metro stations, which I'm kind of excited about because it means I get to start working on buses. And buses are something I'm, I say excited about, I mean I'm more like, you know, we'll work on buses when we get to buses because I'm bad at buses. We'll work on buses when we get to buses is basically the thing you should take away from that sentence. Anyway, that'll reconnect to there. Then this line needs to connect. It does connect to the end there. The next end of the line is technically here in Olive Square. And then technically this one. And then it needs to loop around and go to there. So we're almost good on this. Almost good on this. Let's see if I can get a nice curve to go there. That's perfect. So somehow I need to connect it to Olive Square. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure it out. Let's go back to the freeform thing here and take it just under the avenue here. I don't think this needs to curve, like follow the whole thing around. I think what I'll do though is just take it out in a nice big curve, sort of along the bottom of the mountain, then under the middle of the highways here. Just so it, you know, it follows some of the already established infrastructure. Maybe it doesn't go to Olive Square. Maybe it just cuts straight through to like there and goes around. Because Olive Square is, that's a very distinct line, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we should go to Olive Square or not. I think we'll avoid it. I think we'll avoid Olive Square for the time being and just continue on our way here. So can I get like a big old straight section of metro line here? I don't think I want it to actually intersect the other bits. I think it's going to dip underneath. Also, anarchy. There we go. So I think this will just dip underneath what we've already got. Bit of a sharp dip there, but whatever. Back up we go. So it goes underneath. It needs to then come across and go into that point. Then this needs to go up and sort of follow this road around, I think. And I think this might actually work out pretty well, which is exciting because if it works out really well and people start using it, we're going to have even more people using the metro lines, which is just beautiful. So let's get the final curve in to here. We need those guidelines on. So final curve is going to go there. All right. Okay, I'm kind of excited. Let's see if this works out. So from that stop, going all the way down to that stop, going all the way around the city to that stop, cutting across to this one, then to this one, then to the 3 new stops right there on the edge of the city, going the whole way back up to here, and then back to there. And then we want to go in the opposite direction as well, just so people can have some options. So the whole way down the city again to here, here, and here. Coming across back into Concord Heights, into Middle Hills, into Anchor Square, the whole way down along the coast, back over towards whatever this is called, Empire Hills, and then back to whatever this is called, which is Sheffield Park. Currently 7,500 people using the metro lines. Let's sort these by name real quick so we can get those last 2 lines. And let's make those last 2 lines. We're already using yellow. I think that's our industrial line, isn't it? Why does that line exist? Did that originally go to... I don't know why that line exists. Why do we have a dedicated yellow line there? It's quite popular. But I feel like there are other lines that do the same job, you know? So I think that yellow line could probably go. I don't think we need it anymore. And I think what we're going to do is use that yellow or maybe sort of golden color for the looping lines. I think that works a little bit better. So let's see how that works out. Let's see if a lot of people start using those, which I really hope they do. I really hope they do. I really hope that works out, because if it does, then, you know, more people for the metro. Oh, but I do realize it doesn't connect through the center of the city. Although I guess it technically doesn't need to. It's a big ring of metro lines going around the city. It doesn't need to connect right into the middle. I guess from any of those stations except for those 3, you can get on another train that'll take you to the center of the city. So I think I'm worrying about something that's a non-issue. I'd also like to point out we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines that have over 1,000 passengers per week, which is a little bit nuts. Just a little bit nuts, and I kind of really enjoy that fact. Actually, a lot of people already waiting for the gold train there. Probably going to be a lot of trains there, actually, which might be a problem. We might want to look into the number of actual trains there, because that could slow down some of the other lines, and we definitely don't want that. So, gonna have to keep my eye on it, but for the time being, it will do. So, what else do we have to work on today? Well, there's a lot of demand for things, industry being one, commercial being another, and I'm also thinking I'd really like to connect this road to here. So if we maybe get like a little roundabout here or something, or maybe just a junction. I think maybe just an intersection, because we don't need roundabouts everywhere, even though I kind of like them. But something like that. Throw a bit of, I don't know, offices in there. And I'm just thinking we could, well, number one, lower that a bit. Just a little bit, not completely. I'm thinking we go, I don't know, 5 that way, and 5 that way. Then just make a little corner, turn that on, please. Make a little corner point there. Do the same there and do the same there. What I can do is use that as the angle for an avenue. And then maybe have that avenue dip underneath the mountain at that spot. Probably going to lower the whole thing though, because it's a little bit too high up there. So if I just lower the whole thing into the mountain, I can smooth it out a little bit. I think that's probably a good idea. Maybe also just lowering that bit as well. So that seems to lower the entire... That's quite a tunnel. That's quite the tunnel we have going on there. It takes out a lot of mountain. What if I raise that up a little bit? Is that all right? I think I can make that look nice. The point is, I want a tunnel there, and I want it to go, you know, straight through the mountain. And I do want it to line up with this road over here, because I think that'll be a kind of an interesting road to have. You know, this road that comes straight out, goes through the mountain. And then maybe some, you know, suburbs along the mountain or something like that. I do want a band of trees around the airport, though, and some of the industry as well. And just separating the city from the suburbs as well. You know, I want to do this properly. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, let's lower that into the mountain. I think that could maybe be done sooner, actually. So bring that to there and lower it into the mountain. And now we just need these bits of road to connect together. So that comes straight out to, say, there. We have our guidelines on, so I should just be able to get these to connect real nicely. Like that. And that should do the job. I think that'll let people get through there real nicely. Let me just lower that bit of road, though, so that the tunnel itself is a little bit better looking. Could maybe raise up that bit of road, just again to make that tunnel slightly better looking. And then maybe smooth out some of the terrain, again, just to make that tunnel slightly better looking. So brush size a little bit higher. There we go, just smooth out some of that. I don't think that actually made it look better at all, but, well, we'll just live with it and see how it goes. There we go. So we'll see if any traffic ends up using that. I kind of have my doubts, but I think it's going to be an interesting road. And again, I really want to just keep an eye on my metro lines. I do realize that we did take like 300 passengers from one line there that was coming to this industrial zone and going back and forth there, but oh wow, there are a couple of trains backed up there. I think the yellow line might be, how many trains is it operating right now? 7 each. Maybe we knock both lines down to 5, possibly? 5 lines, 5 trains could be better, maybe 6. I think we go down to 5 on each line. Just so that, they're maybe gonna just, you know, work out better. Either way, this station here is already super busy with that yellow line, which is great. This station here, quite busy as well. The 3 stations on the side, not so busy. Actually quite busy, and also relatively busy, so that's good. We're seeing some progress here. What I would like to do, though, is just bring some pedestrian paths around here so that people can actually, you know, go from one side of the road there to another. So, like, that will work. That's actually immediately got people going that way, which is great. And then this side as well, we can sort of do the same thing just to let people get around there. I'm also wondering if I could maybe bring these a little closer together just to make them look a little bit better. Because they're a little bit nasty looking there, so just do that kind of thing. I think that looks better. Definitely looks a bit better. If I just bring this all in a little bit, just something like that, you know? Something just to neaten it all up, make the corners a bit nicer, make it all a little bit sharper, like that, and maybe just bring you to there a little bit and bring you in a little bit too. There we go. I think that looks all right. That'll let people get across and sort of do their thing and get from one side to the other so they don't have to go down the avenue or up the avenue or somewhere around the avenue. So yeah, there we go. They can do their thing. I should probably do the same over here, although they don't actually have as far to go with that one. But I think I'll do it anyway. So let's just get the path in to here. You know, I really should go and get the... What's it called? Is it network extensions, I think is the... I think that's the name of the mod I'm looking for, network extensions. I think it gives you, like, the pedestrian roads and stuff like that. I really should look into more mods, especially mods like network extensions, because it is just so good. It's such a good one. Can I select the little node at the end there? There we go. So we'll shuffle that to the left a little bit. And then we'll select that and shuffle it to the left a little bit there. And I think we're actually looking pretty good there. Let's just bring this down slightly. And there we go. So we have our path going that way too, which will let people get from the metro station into the district really, really nicely. Am I missing one? I did miss one. It's right there, but it has actually got a path beside it, so that's not actually a huge deal. I think I would like to just bring it a little closer though, and bring it a little closer there too. So there we go. I think that works, and could maybe use a couple of trees around it just to make the station look a little bit more alive, because there's a lot of empty space there. It's a little bit awkward looking. So some nice big trees in there, some bushes, all that kind of stuff. I think that looks better. And we could maybe do the same over here as well, since we do have a little bit of empty space like that. And also a bit of empty space just there as well, with another couple of bushes. There we go. So that just fills up the empty spaces around the metro stations. It lets people come out and use the pathways to get into the districts immediately. And we're already looking at quite a few people in each of those stations. We're looking at, you know, 510 on line 16, 346 on line 15. So I'd say those lines have been a bit of a success already, which is excellent news. As for traffic in the city, still flowing pretty well over here. It does look like we're still having this issue, where traffic flowing into that industrial zone is just not having a good time. I am sort of feeling like that's the major source of problems in the city. I'm also feeling like it's a major source of problems because, for whatever reason, all of the traffic just sits in that left lane. Which is weird to me. I feel like we need dedicated turning lanes. I feel like there's just not enough. The traffic just doesn't move right, is what I'm feeling here. You know, I don't think it needs to be in that left lane the whole way down there. So I might have to go in and micromanage some of that. I might have to do some lane stuff here. Because it just feels very strange to me that, you know, traffic is behaving in that way. Because that lane there really could just be, you know, left turns only. That one there is going to be right turns only. This one's going to be go to any 3 of those lanes. Which I don't think makes... It doesn't make perfect sense, but with traffic lights, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Then this one is going to be... go to any 3 of those lanes. You are going left only, and you are going right only. This is going to force traffic into that middle lane. This isn't actually going to fix the problem, I'm realizing, as I do this. It is just going to, you know, change the lane that the traffic sits in. But it will at least let some of the traffic filter out along the way, so that some of the traffic that's actually going, say, to the left is gonna be able to go, you know, to the left rather than just sit there. So let's see what that does. Because all of that traffic should... I mean, a lot of it's going to be forced left now because of the way I think Traffic Manager actually works. But it does free up that left lane for turning. And yeah, it did exactly what I thought it would. It forced a lot of traffic onto roads it doesn't want to be on, and yeah. Didn't exactly do what I thought it would do, but it's fine. I think it's still a good thing to free up some lanes to actually be used properly. I think that's probably a decent enough thing to do. It might be worth doing similar here and saying, you know, this left lane can go to any 3 lanes so the traffic isn't merging awkwardly. I'm going to give that a shot. So you can go to any 3 lanes on the left there, and then you can go any 2 lanes in the right and any 2 lanes ahead. And I really hope traffic lights work in my favor here. I really do. You are going to go left only. You are going to go to any 3 lanes up there and any 2 lanes up there. You are also going to be left only, and then you are going to go in that direction and that direction. Then you are left only. You are going straight on only, and you are going right only. Well, let's see how that mess works out, because that could just be phenomenal, is what that could be. I'm also thinking traffic's going to be super lazy here and still stay in the left lane only and then merge here rather than get into lane early. So I might have to turn off merging here completely. Which it actually that looks like the thing I'm going to have to do. Because traffic, rather than getting into lane right at the beginning of the road, it's just saying, hey, I'll just, you know, merge across later. Which I don't really want it doing. So if I set this up so that this guy can go to any of those 3 lanes, any of those 3 lanes, and that one, I need to remember to do the same here as well. Because they cannot merge on this road. Which I sincerely hope is going to do some good things. I sincerely hope that's going to do some good things. Basically, any left-bound traffic here can now go to whichever lane it wants to go to. And then it can, you know, it turns right, it turns left, it does whatever it needs to do. The only issue, of course, is that this traffic and this traffic both go at the same time. I think I need custom traffic lights for that, and I don't know traffic lights well enough to even attempt to make that work. I think that entire road needs to be seriously micromanaged, and realistically speaking, I could probably spend an hour-long episode doing that. I just don't think that's... I don't think that's going to be an exciting episode, nor a popular one, so I don't think we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, so I have done a bit of micromanaging here, in that every junction here is sort of custom. So the left lane on any one of these junctions where there are multiple lanes going in any one direction, so this one's probably better to look at here. The left lane on every road is left turns only. That's kind of the rule I'm sticking with here. And the right lane can go right and straight on. So with these asymmetrical roads, left is left turns only. If you're on the right lane, you can go straight on or up the road to the right. The same applies to... I actually missed a road here. The same applies to the avenues. So the left lane is left turns only. The middle lane is then straight on, and the right lane is right turns only. Then there's no merging on the roads at all. Apparently I missed this one as well, which is kind of annoying. There's no merging on the roads at all because every car that comes onto the avenue has the opportunity to get into the lane that it wants to be in and that it needs to be in. So if you're coming on from here, you can go left lane, middle lane, or right lane. You don't need to merge here because you should be in the lane that you want to go to if you want to then go left, straight on, or to the right. And if you're not going on the avenue, you just stay in the right lane and go straight across. So that will hopefully let the traffic just move around a little bit better. Obviously, emergency vehicles will still cut through, but I'm thinking that will at least, you know, it dedicates that middle lane to traffic that is just going straight on. And it means that that traffic going straight on isn't necessarily blocking traffic that in that same section of avenue wants to go to the left or go to the right. So we should see a bit more traffic getting around this avenue. We should see a little bit more, you know, going where it wants to go, doing its thing, taking those left turns, taking those right turns. It's a bit messy, obviously, because that's kind of just the way City Skylines traffic can be. Especially with the way the traffic lights work, especially with me kind of needing to go in and do those timed ones. But I think that's going to do some good for us. I also want to see here 8,800 people using the metro with almost 1,000 using each of the new lines. I'm going to say those are possibly a bit of a success. Definitely going to say those are a bit of a success. Also looks like this road's slowly clearing out a bit, which is great news because this has been one of our problem roads for a really long time. I think it's still gonna be for a while because this road has the same rules as the previous bits of road and that you can't merge here. So all of that traffic is going left. It is all going to the side there. It is all going to the same place. So we have got a lot of traffic that's trying to just get into this industrial zone and that is being held back by the traffic lights and the other traffic going through there. So, I don't know. I think we're going to have to maybe look into ways to get the traffic moving around there a bit quicker. Because it's definitely not moving all that quickly just yet. But I'm excited to see how that road plays out. I'm also kind of curious to see if we can maybe increase the flow of traffic on this road as well. I'm thinking one of the problems that I have is that I can't do a lot with this avenue here. I kind of don't like the fact that we have the trams going along. I like the trams. They're not popular, not really. But I like them. I think they're a nice little touch to the city. But what I might try and do is move the trams off of the roads, at least off of avenues, and give them their own dedicated tram roads or something like that. Just so I can upgrade this road to have more lanes on it, so that I can kind of do that same thing that I did here, so that traffic isn't going to be merging all over the place. If you're going to the left, you get in the left lane. If you're going to the right, you get in the right lane as you get onto the road, rather than doing it, you know, halfway down the road and kind of stopping everyone behind you and then stopping everyone in the lane that you're going into. It's just kind of annoying. What I am curious about is whether or not anyone at all is using this road here. I kind of doubt it, I'm going to be honest, but I'm curious. Yeah, there's like one city service vehicle every now and then apparently, which is just excellent. Possibly hearses. Probably hearses, let's be real here. Now, one thing this road does actually is gives us this space here. And I don't actually know what I want to do with that space, but I'm thinking that could maybe end up being our first space of, say, suburban zoning. There's definitely room there, so if I was to do... Oh, there is a vehicle there. What is it? It's a police vehicle. Fair enough. Is it a police vehicle? Yeah, that is a police vehicle. Police car. Fair enough. So what I'm thinking we could do is, if we were to come off of, say, here, like that, we can keep that little gap there, so those 4 tiles, just so that we have room for things like trees, which I'm absolutely going to want. If we do that kind of thing and we go to here as well and do a similar kind of thing like that, we can bring this road up to there and bring that over to there and go across like that. I think we'll just do the diagonal there rather than going for a curve, although I don't even think I could get a curve there. No curve's going to work there, not really. I'd have to bring this back a little bit, which... apparently I'm going to do. You know, I was like, oh, we're not going to bother with the curve, but apparently we're going to do it anyway. So to, like that, I think that will actually work with the anarchy. Yeah. So that's fine. We get a little bit of a curve there. I'm going to bring this road down to here as well. I don't think we're going to do a curve there. Although we could do a curve there. I think it might actually look nice. So let's just do that sort of thing and go for a very, very small curving bit of road. I said a very, very small curving bit of road there. Again, just to keep it nice and simple. Bring this straight along to, say, there. And this bit can go straight along to there. So I think that'll be fine. I'm not really sure what way to go about doing actual suburbs in here, because I don't want to do zoning, I don't think. Well, actually, I was going to say I don't want to do zoning in these roads. I think I will. I think I will do some zoning in there. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe just doing this kind of thing. You know, maybe just some roads that go straight in like that. You know, maybe some go a little further than others. We could have one more there, for example, that goes even further than the last one. Then we could start bringing roads from over here that come all the way in like this. And I think a very grid-based kind of suburb area here kind of makes sense. I also realize I'm doing trees on those roads. I probably don't want those. We'll go for regular roads so that people can park on them. I think that could be an idea. And I think I'll also do this sort of thing just to bring a little bit of a different vibe to that bit. So we'll do this. We'll bring another section straight up to there, possibly, leaving a bit of a gap. I do want to get some parks in here as well. I'm wondering what kind of parks we could go for. Parking lots are not going to be the go-to. I don't think the park with trees. I do think the large playground is one that we want. And I do think it could go somewhere like that. Would be nice if it fit into some of these other areas, but I don't think it's gonna. Could put one there, actually. I think that might be a spot. Or there. I think right there is good. So that'll work. Let's just bring another road up to here. About the same length as the previous one. And then we'll start bringing them off of that road. Actually, does this work? Oh, almost. That almost works. Let me bring this road straight through. Actually, maybe not. Because that would be a bit much for that junction, I think. Let's maybe line this one with trees up to this point, and then we'll bring a section of road off of here. Actually, it needs to be a little bit further back, so change that completely. Then we'll go to here. And I think we'll just bring these up the hill ever so slightly. Just a little bit. So that people are going to be living with a little bit of a view over the city. I think this one can go a little bit less. Actually, maybe that one doesn't need to be there at all. And I think that'll be fine. And then this road here, kind of grass lining it so that people can't park on that. Since it's going to be a road that's a little bit busier. And maybe just there as well, so people don't park on that bit of road. And I'm definitely thinking that could be a bit of a nice suburb of some sort. And I'm thinking we could even go ahead and start connecting this park to the roads there. It would be nice if I could connect it here as well. So if I use Anarchy, I actually can bring this straight through, which I think is a good idea. I could double it up and put another one in there, and I think I will, just because I do kind of like that park. I do think it's very nice. So just bring that through to there, and there we go. So that park is doubled up. I think it looks great. And I think what I'll do is maybe just bring a few more of these dirt paths down either side so that we don't get zoning right up against the park. And what I can even do is just select those and move them a little tiny bit closer so that they look like they're connected to the park, so that they're not just separated by this bit of grass. Do the same on this one. Just like so. And in it goes. And I think, other than the little separation there, but I don't think that's too much of a big deal, I think that actually looks pretty good to me. So, we do need to get zoning in there. We do probably want to get some commercial in there. Maybe a little bit of low density commercial by the parks. Or just there, by each entranceway. Could be an idea. So something a bit like that, maybe, for commercial at the entrance to the district. Kind of like that. Just so people can shop there. And so they can sort of work there as well. But the rest of it is absolutely just going to be 100% residential. I also want to get some paths going in and around these areas. I'm also thinking I can maybe do a little custom park there, which I think I'm going to go ahead and just outline so I remember to do it and don't totally forget to do it. Also, if this would just line up properly, which it just did, absolutely beautiful there. So yeah, we'll do some kind of little park in there just to fill up the corner. If I could do the same here, that would be great, just to fill up that little corner too. And then we'll just do a pretty thick tree line, I think, along here. So let's see if that's a thing I can actually get away with doing, because we're going to need a fairly small brush, which that is. Maybe these instead of trees. Although I don't know if we're going to get the density. I think the game might very well be like, hey, you've already got a bunch of trees in there, and I've still got the trees selected, so that's why it's not putting in the bushes. So can I do any bushes along here? I can do a few. And I do think having that dense row of foliage between, you know, the highways and the industry, I think that's going to be really good. I think that's going to definitely make people kind of happy. What other trees we got in here? It looks like we've got the little... I don't actually know what trees these are. I think they might just be small oak trees. So maybe just throw a few of those in too, just to make things a little bit more dense around there. And I might actually go ahead and pull out some of the trees from the middle of this area, just to really emphasize the fact that it is surrounded by trees and not, you know, occupied by them. So if we just go in here and just clear out some of these, not necessarily all of them, just make it a little bit more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, sparse? Barren? I don't know. Something kind of like that, though, because that is all going to fill up with buildings anyway. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, I totally forgot about pipes. Oh, no, I didn't. I mean, they're there from the old industrial zone. They don't really follow the roads, but that was actually kind of a pleasant surprise. I never find pipes already installed. I always have to do them myself. Right. So, like... that will do the job. We'll go like this as well. And straight up to there. All right. So these don't actually need to follow every single road. I need to remember that. So go to there. This one, well, we are going to need to go to there and there at least. This can go straight up to there. This can go to there. And this one I will just bring up because I can and connect it across like that. And then I think I'll just connect the ends of all of these as well, because it'll look kind of nice. There we go. So we'll do that kind of thing. Maybe just bulldoze that one and do it again since it doesn't quite work perfectly. There we go. Yeah, that kind of works. Maybe connect down here too for a bit of redundancy. And maybe there as well for a bit more of that redundancy. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this area goes. I think the last thing we need to do is make it a district, because I think we're going to go for self-sufficient housing out here. And I think we're also going to go for the homegrown crops thing as well, since we do have some low-density commercial out here. I think we're going to have this sort of freeform around the hill as well, which I'm not looking forward to. I don't like freeform districts. They don't ever look neat, so I'm going to have to fix this up in one way or other, because Primrose Square is just not very pretty at all, and I don't like it. So what can I do here? How can I make this look neat? Is there any way I can do it? I guess I could run like I could technically run a train line outside of it and then use the train line to like trim the district, but I think that's a little obsessive. But I might do it. I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. So chop across there, nice and easy. Then kind of come up like that and chop across there, nice and easy. Then across to about there and straight up. Okay, that's not perfect, but it'll do. Can you hear the pain in my voice? Because you should be able to hear the pain in my voice. I'm not happy about this district, but I think that's going to have to do. So let's go ahead and say that that is going to have the policies I talked about. Oh, no. So self-sufficient housing with the organic and local produce for the shops. And we'll see how that goes. We'll just have to see how that goes. Obviously, we are going to have to get the demand for residential up a little bit. So we are going to need to throw in a bit more commercial. We are going to need to throw in quite a bit more industry as well, possibly offices. I don't really know which. If we zoom in a bit, I'm not really seeing any demand for anything in terms of more goods to sell or not enough goods being sold or whatever. So I'm not really sure if that's actual industry or if that's offices that people want. I have a feeling it's probably offices, but there's no real way to be sure. So I think what we might have to do here is give it a bit of a test. And what I'm thinking I can do to do that is just bring a road across here and fill up this space with something like offices. Because that would technically get rid of the demand. We could put a bit more commercial in there too. And since we are getting a new area of residential, actually, speaking of new areas of residential, we are going to need education over here. So throwing a school into one of these spots is probably not a bad idea at all. So let's go ahead and do just that. We'll put a school on the other side of, we'll put a school just there actually. Just in a bit of the commercial zoning. Oh, I got rid of my path. No, didn't want to do that. Really didn't want to do that. Can I just fix that real quick? Did not want rid of that path. I'd really like that back because it looked kind of nice. Just shuffle it over to there. There we go. So that'll work. That'll give them a school in that district. It is actually filling up already, which is great. So you know what? I think we'll actually deal with this demand next time. Our population has dropped a bit since we got started, but I think we'll deal with this demand next time. I'm kind of excited to see how the suburb ends up panning out. It is the first suburb of the city, so I did go with that more grid layout there. Eventually, things will get a little bit more freeform. Right now, I'm not too concerned about going into the freeform stuff. We're going to stick with sort of grids here because it is a bit more of an urban suburb. But I like it. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you kindly for watching. This has been City Skylines Green Cities Part 20. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!